Lance All here for Let's Discuss with Lance All. Happy to welcome Hell in the Club lead vocalist Dave to the program today. We're going to talk about their new EP that came out just a little while ago. Fantastic stuff, Dave.
Thank you so much, Lance, and I'm happy to be here with you once again.
I understand this was an EP you actually wanted to put out last year to get in with the full 10-year anniversary, but of course COVID and everything held it up. But I think your timing was perfect this year.
Yeah, as you said, we basically wanted to kind of wanted to do something for the 10 years, but of course, due to the pandemic and all that's happened, we had to move it to this year, of course. So we couldn't do much more. So like no live shows, no, and basically this EP was born for a series of things and ideas that we wanted to achieve, but in the end, it ended up like it is.
Yeah. Reflect back for a moment on 10 years of Hell in the Club. Give us sort of a good, a bad, and the ugly of it all, you know?
Well, all the bad, and not only the bad, but all the bad is pretty well summarized in the lyrics of the two new songs that we have on the EP. Mm-hmm. Because just before writing the lyrics for these two songs, we were talking between the four of us, and we were just realizing that no matter what, throughout all these 10 years, we always, maybe not always, but we often made decisions that made us we were most of the times broke because of all these decisions and choices, and probably the outcome was not as successful as we imagined it would have been. So it was like a kamikaze all the time. This was the metaphor. It was like Hell in the Club going for doing things with the band and always crashing. And where does a kamikaze lands on? Of course, it leaves only slums after its fall, and this is why we call the song 10 years in the slums, because basically, and of course I'm kidding a little bit, but basically we are an underground band and we are anchored to the underground, and it is mainly a choice because sometimes we never do what is bands are doing nowadays in order to promote in a right way, let's say, the band, and I don't know, being super active on social media and doing this and doing that, but of course we are 40-year-old guys that are doing this just for the just for the fun, right, just for the love of this kind of music, and we want to do it as it was back in the day, because we are basically this band is a tribute to that kind of music, to that kind of hard rock and heavy metal, and it seems so natural to us to do it in any other way, or like it is supposed to do to be done nowadays.
Yeah.
So basically these 10 years were like a ride of fun, of having fun together as friends, as guys that are enjoying the same passion for the same music. So basically this is what Hell in the Club was born for, and it still stands for that. As I was kidding a little bit, but it's true. Every time we try to do something more, it's difficult to have a real how can I say that, to have a real response from the outside world. It's like not wanting to join a party, but then being sad because then people doesn't laugh at your jokes when you one day show up at the party. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
So basically, yeah, that's the kamikaze that lives in the slums. It's Hell in the Club.
All right, let's keep going through the tracks. You've explained the first two, Kamikaze and 10 Years in the Slums. I got to tell you, on 10 Years, The first thing that jumped out on that track to me was the drumming. I thought the drumming was awesome. Killer hook and a great chorus in that song.
Cool.
That
Thank
was
you so much. Yeah,
excellent.
our Mark is really a great drummer. So yeah, we have, you know, we had three great drummers in our band, because the drummer is the only member of the band that we changed, unfortunately, but we always had great drummers, and we're really grateful for that.
Yeah. Track 3 is an Alice Cooper cover. He's back, the man behind the mask. And this was actually released, was it last year around Halloween time?
Yeah, exactly. It was a special song for Halloween, and that is one of the three ideas that I was talking about previously, that really moved us in doing the CP. Because basically, at first, one of the things that we wanted to do after the previous album, Hell of Fame, we wanted to do a special song for Halloween, and then we wanted to record also some cover songs. At first, we wanted to do some songs that really influenced us as a band and as musicians. But then this thing of Halloween melted a little bit with the idea of making some cover songs. And then we were, you know, like picking up some songs that really had this link with horror themes. And of course, you know, the songs that we were choosing were all songs that had something to do. There was a link between hard rock and like horror movies or horror themes. And I think that we talked about Dream Warriors from Dokken.
Right.
Which, by the way, they're doing a great documentary these days about monsters and rock and metal, hosted by Piggy D. I'm seeing that on the Gibson channel, and it's really interesting. Yeah, so I believe that at one point they will also talk about this Alice Cooper Friday the 13th thing. So yeah, that was our choice. There on the table there was also Scream Until You Like It by Wasp, which was for the Ghoulies movie, if you remember that.
I do.
Yeah, so we picked up one song that had a horror link, and we published and we released it, of course, at Halloween. And then we chose a song which was pretty much influential for us from one of the albums in rock and in metal that really, you know, we all agreed that it is one of our favorite ever, and it's the Crimson Idol by Wasp. So that's why we chose
Chainsaw Charlie.
Chainsaw Charlie, yeah. But yeah, about He's Back, I think that's highly underrated song.
Yeah,
I believe that the whole scene, the whole history has mistaken that song for a gimmick song, but I think it is not a gimmick song. I think it's a great tune, and that's why we wanted to do, you know, like our own version. And I think that it's we really enjoyed it.
I got to give you a Halloween memory that I have from 1987. I've actually got two. One of them involves Alice Cooper. We drove down. I'm in Vermont in the United States. We drove down to Connecticut to see a show. On the drive down, we left on October 30th late that night. And I remember a radio station down in Mass was playing the Alice Cooper show live. They played the entire album.
Wow.
And we listened to it forever. So that was cool. And then the show we saw Halloween night was in Providence, Rhode Island, and it was Dokken opening for Aerosmith, and Dokken did Dream Warriors that night.
Wow, man. Those were the years. Those were the days. Yeah.
I lived them, Dave. I lived them.
In the States, which was the perfect place to live them. Great. I envy you a lot.
which now brings us to track 5, In Your Eyes. This was a song that was the Japanese bonus cut off the first album. It was an acoustic version. I went back and I listened to that. Yeah. But this one is just absolutely gorgeous, Dave. This version of it. I was a DJ in the 80s, and as I played the song like 3 times, it took me back to high school dances, last dance of the night. You know, you're grabbing your favorite girl and you've got that slow dance. Totally took me back. Fantastic job on this.
Wow, this is incredible words you are saying. I mean, we wanted to give a little bit of justice to this song, because we used it as a Japanese bonus track, and I think that not a lot of people has ever listened to this song. So we decided to, you know, and of course it was just an acoustic song, so we wanted to, you know, give it a proper, you know, feeling, proper with all the instruments.
Power ballad.
Yeah, exactly. We wanted, yeah, we didn't have the chance to do it properly the first time, so we decided, in order to celebrate the 10 years of this, of the Let the Games Begin album, why not re-recording this song and do it properly this time. So yeah, I'm really glad that you enjoyed it so much, because I think, yeah, it's a good song, and we really are happy about this thing that we made up re-recording.
Anyone who lived in the 80s the way I did will hear that song and be instantly taken back,
Cool,
instantly.
cool, cool.
The other part I liked in that is when it came to the length, when it got to the length of where the acoustic track ended, I think it was like 3 minutes and 30 seconds, you kind of had almost like a false ending, and then you jumped into like a really nice solo out. You had some vocals
Yeah,
going out, the
yeah.
build up, quintessential power ballad.
Yeah, that's very, very 80s. The solo that comes up, like, it seems like the song is ended, and then the solo comes up, this epic solo that is very 80s.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Just I can't. I honestly can't say enough about that track. It really blew me away. Really blew me away,
cool,
and it
cool.
transported me back in time.
Thank you
Um,
so much, man.
Talk a little bit about the album artwork. I saw you did a post on this. Is it Solo Macello? Am I getting that right?
Yes, he is the man. Yeah, he made
Yeah.
the cover of the previous album, the Hall of Fame album, and then we totally like his style, so we call him also for this. Yeah.
Yeah. Did he come up with the entire concept, or did you guys have any sort of rough draft you gave him, or is that all him?
It was a little bit of both. I mean, we this time we wanted to have, as you see the big star that we have on the logo, we wanted it to have it, in the cover as the symbol of the band. Of course, we are celebrating 10 years of the band, so we needed to have, a pretty recognizable sign of who we are, and the star is of the logo is probably the most recognizable. And it reminds us a lot, album covers such as, for example, White Snake's cover album, with the one with the big symbol, and there are not too many details, but it's like iconic because there's their symbol on it, and it's pretty much recognizable. But of course, then we said to Solo Marcello, we said, this the two new songs are about kamikaze and the slums, and it just came up with all this great, idea of the background of the slums and the city, and this crazy devil riding I think it's a war from the Second World War plane.
Yeah,
It's funny. Yeah, it's funny.
great stuff. Now the band actually sort of got formed after you were with Elvin King and Secret Sphere played a gig together, and you and Andy sort of hooked up, correct?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we
Yeah.
never met before that. I knew who Secret Sphere were. I was a fan of Secret Sphere, and they were fans of Elvin King, but we never met. We were just like having parallel careers in the metal, in the melodic metal scene in back in the days, and yeah. Once we just made this, we happened to make a show together, and me and Andy, we just hooked up and started talking about music. And we just were talking about the fact that we raised with the same bands, the same songs, the same music, in the 80s. And the day after, he wrote me and said, "Hey man, I am just wanting to put up a band that plays this kind of stuff. I now that I know that you love it and I love your voice, want to care to have a listen and see if you like the stuff." And then that's how it started.
How is your guitarist name pronounced? I know I'm going to say it wrong if I do.
Yeah, try.
I was going to say either Piso or Pico.
Hey, yeah, it's Pico.
Pico. Okay.
Yeah.
How did he come about to be in the band?
Well, Andy knew him. He was playing guitar in I think it was a Toto cover band.
Really?
Yeah, and they knew each other. They come from the same city, from Alessandria in Italy, and he always said, if I ever make a band like this, a hard rock band, I want him as a guitar player. Don't want anyone else. I just want Pico. And yeah, fortunately, he agreed. and that is not something that comes for free. I mean, he is a very grumpy guy, so it's you know, it was not so, I would say, I can say that it was not something certain, you know. If you
Right.
go to Pico and ask him something, you always accept the worst. But he said yes.
Very cool. You
Yeah,
mentioned you've had several different drummers. You currently have a gentleman named Mark. How did Mark come into the band on
yeah.
drums?
Well, Mark is also the drummer for Secret Sphere, but I think that when he started to play with us, he still wasn't, he wasn't in a Secret Sphere. But anyway, we knew him for a long time. He also substituted our first drummer, Federico, many times on live shows when Federico couldn't be with us. So it's, you know, we're friends since many years or so. It
Yeah.
was the perfect choice when Langs just couldn't be with us anymore for all
Yeah.
these musical projects.
Okay. Reading up a little bit about your influences, and I really liked it because you've got such a broad range here. You know, of course, doing an album like this, the Guns N' Roses, the Kiss, the Whitesnake, the Aerosmith comes up, but you're also a fan of like Lady Gaga, Green Day, Elvis, Johnny Cash. Was there someone who sort of exposed you to all these different genres, or did you just find it all on your own? The more you went into it, the deeper you got, you know?
Well, I am also a very fan of extreme metal, you know. So let's add also that to the to
Yeah.
the pot. I mean, when it comes to this, you know, when it comes to music, I hardly have any boundaries. Of course, my deep love is for hard rock and heavy metal, and especially extreme metal, as I said. That's where my heart beats, you know, the most. But you know, I'm always in search for good songs, and if they tick, I just go for them. I mean, in this, especially in this genre of hard rock and heavy metal, a lot of people is how can I say that, discriminates the you know, the other listeners. I mean, all my life I've been you know, for example, playing Elven King, which we play a melodic metal, but how many times I've heard people coming from the extreme scene saying, "Oh gosh, melodic shit, you know, guy, gay music, and all this shit," and it's very it's very difficult to make people understand that. And this happens also with Hell in the Club. I mean, a lot of people is not approaching Hell in the Club because me and Andy are playing in power metal bands. And a lot of people, and this, they also told us right in the face, or if you read some comments here and there, how can they write real rock music if they play power metal? And I'm always stoked to hear this shit, because I think that there are no real boundaries. I mean, I can listen all day to Cannibal Corpse, which I do.
Yeah.
But I can write hard rock song because I love hard rock. But people often don't understand that. And when, you know, they ask me, how can you listen to Green Day, then the day after you listen to Watain, and then you listen to Scorpions, and then I mean, it's totally normal. And I know a lot of people that is like this. So I don't know why all these boundaries all the time. Should be, music is really one of the most, you know, the most things, you know, the things that are most you know, how can I say that?
There's a versatility to it that you should enjoy.
Exactly. So yeah. So,
you know, and same can be said about the band Audrey Horn. I mean, those guys are all death metal guys, but they write some fantastic melodic stuff, you know.
Exactly.
Night Flight Orchestra, you know, same deal.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Amazing
stuff.
We
talk, by the way, really cool Night Flight Orchestra. Really love them.
Where did the moment come when you started singing? Where was your aha moment? This is what I want to do with my life. Had you sung like in a church or in a chorus or anything like that, or just happened by happening?
Well, when I was a kid, I was like 7, 8 years old, and my brother used to bring home all the cassettes of bands like Metallica, Maiden, Guns N' Roses, Ozzy, and all these cool things, And there I really started immediately to understand that I really loved this genre, this kind of music, and I knew from the beginning that it would have been one of the real passions and loves of my life. But I think that when I started playing, taking guitar lessons when I was a kid, and I never had any intention of singing at all. But I had this kind of idea after seeing on TV shows by Guns N' Roses, for example. I remember the infamous Live at the Ritz by Guns N' Roses, And when I saw that, I really thought, man, I want to do this, and I want to be on stage and be so powerful and be so energetic. And so I saw myself, even if I didn't have any intention of singing, I saw myself like small version of Axl Rose. I really loved what he was doing. And so in the end, I was playing when I was 15 years old. I was playing guitar in this cover band. And then we didn't have the singers, so we were just sick of playing just instrumental songs. And then I just, I'll sing for today, and just to have something, and that's how it started.
Wow,
actually.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So jumping back to the now, how are things in your part of the world? Is Hell in the Club going to be able to go out and do any type of tours? Any plan to do any tour with this? Are you able to? What's going forward with you?
Well, at the moment we are, we're going to play a couple of shows, one in May and one in July. One is a rescheduled gig that we had to do, I don't know, in 2000, and I don't remember when, probably 2020, of course. And so finally, I think things are starting to reopen a bit also here in Italy. I mean, nowadays it is possible, today it is possible to make shows, but we all have this green pass thing that you have to have, and a lot of people is against it. And I think that a lot of club owners are not risking to make any big events in clubs. But now that I think at the end of March, in a couple of days, the COVID emergency will finally be over here in Italy. So I think that finally from April, we will, start having a kind of normal life also for live shows and so on. So awesome. A couple of shows, we're gonna do those, and then I think that since there are no tours scheduled or anything, we will start working on a new album again, and then hoping to be able to tour a little bit after that.
Very cool. The album is called Kamikaze, 10 Years in the Slums. The group is called Hell in a Club. We've been talking with Dave here, lead vocalist for Hell in the Club. You can check out their website, www.hellinaclub.com. Dave, I usually ask silly questions at the end, but I'm going to go in a slightly different direction with you. I followed you last October on your Facebook page. You turned me on to some fantastic horror movies.
Oh, cool.
You're a horror movie aficionado. So I'm going to go with horror questions. Okay. What's your all-time favorite horror movie?
This is all, I always think about this, and I always say, okay, sooner or later, someone will ask me this question. I have to be prepared, but I am absolutely not prepared. I have so many. How
about your top two?
I would say Suspiria by Dario Argento.
Okay.
And since we were talking about it, A Nightmare on Elm Street, The Dream Warriors, the third one. Okay. I really love that.
What horror movie has scared you the most the first time you watched it?
Oh, apart from The Exorcist, which was pretty, yeah. I saw it as a kid, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think the first the real horror movie that I saw, I think I was 9 or 10, and I saw The Evil Dead,
Oh yeah.
and it really scared the shit out of me.
Hmm.
Totally. And that's when I understood that as it happened for music, I understood that there was totally some connection between me and this
Yeah.
kind of scary stuff. And you know what, I had a terrible nightmare that night. I remember I was ill, by the way, and I
Mm.
had this terrible nightmare, and I woke up and I was so excited. Yeah. I had this great nightmare, man. Incredible. It was like watching another movie. And that was my, yeah, I was like that when I was a
Uh,
kid. Yeah.
I remember watching Evil Dead. I was about 19 at the time, and it scared the shit out of
Oh,
me. So,
yeah.
uh,
Terrible. Awesome film, by the way. Awesome,
yeah.
awesome movie. Yeah.
Favorite horror character?
Uh, I don't want to, sound redundant, but I would say Freddy Krueger.
Okay. This is
Yeah.
my dog. This is my dog. With sound effects here in the background for us.
Great.
I think my daughter's going to come in and try and get her out of here. She's got
Cool.
her. She likes to throw in a cameo every now and then here.
Cool. Cool.
Favorite horror movie franchise.
uh, I couldn't say A Nightmare on Elm Street again, no.
Sure, if it's your favorite, it's your favorite. That's what it is.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, there are so many. I'm just sticking just with that one. It's a pity. um, as a franchise, yeah, I would say that even if there are some episodes, let's say, that are not so up to the level of some others, but yeah, I would say Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got two more for you. Favorite classic horror film.
Ooh, this is a tough one. I would say today, because it comes to my mind, but I have an awful memory. But
Yeah.
I would say House on Haunted Hill.
Yeah. Great flick.
I love it.
Great
I
flick.
love it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. Last one. Most underrated horror film.
Hmm.
I know I'm kind of coming at you from left field here, but that's, wanted
Um,
to
I
try and do something apart from the norm,
no, I think that there are a lot of movies from Lucio Fulci which are totally underrated, but they are also very hard to understand, in my opinion,
Okay.
because they're so borderline on on the way they are and they are not a B movie at the same time, in
Sure.
my opinion. Like City of the Living Dead or The Beyond. I mean, there are, in my opinion, there are great movies, and they are totally on one side underrated. On the other, they are praised as masterpieces. So yeah, probably you have to have like kind of a connection with them, with the cinema.
Yeah, very cool. Talking horror and rock here with Dave, vocalist of
Yeah,
Hell in the
I love
Cloud.
that. I love that.
I'll give you one I stumbled upon a few years ago. It's a thriller, it's a mystery. There's a little bit of horror, it's a little campy. I like it because it's set in New England, where I'm at here in the States. It's called The Legend of Lucy Keys. And
Oh, I don't know that. I'm gonna check it.
like I said, the big thing is, like, I can really, I have to walk in my back door and I can almost see the setting,
Wow.
and like I say, it's got a decent story to it. Is it the best, the greatest of all time? No, but for a good, solid little horror flick,
Wow.
scary
Okay.
thriller, I don't think it's too bad. I would recommend you at least check it.
I'll check it out, of course. And I really, now that you mention it, I one of my dreams is to visit exactly the place where you live. Those that area of the United States. If I have a dream, is that of having a good visit around your area. So
Yeah, there's a lot of
yeah.
old time stuff here. You know, you got Salem, Mass, which isn't too far away, and
Mm,
all this stuff. There's a lot of very cool stuff in my area.
wow.
Dave,
And
I
you said,
appreciate you. Go
yeah.
ahead. I'm sorry I cut you off.
No, you said that you come from Vermont, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's great. That's great. I there are many times I'm watching at the maps and looking at all the photos there. That's amazing. One day I will come and visit you.
If you ever come, yes, stop by for a visit. We'll drink some excellent beer and talk some horror and some music and play some 80s rock, and it will be a great time.
Absolutely. That's the best way of spending some time, man.
All right. Dave,
Cool.
vocalist, once again for Hell in the Club, that EP Kamikaze 10 Years in the Slums out now. It's out digitally. Physical copies are coming in June, correct? And they go to your Bandcamp page to get those?
Yeah, exactly. It's out now and on all digital platforms, but unfortunately, one of the other bad things that COVID left us, it's the fact that we have big delays in printing vinyls.
Right.
So we tried our best, but unfortunately, yeah, the vinyl will be available in June, and we have this special bundle, very vintage idea with vinyl and cassette and poster, and yeah, it's available. It's still available. I think there are a few available left on our Bandcamp page, and of course we also have the vinyl on its own on sale. So if you want to check it, we're there. Yeah.
Dave, this has been a blast. I wish you all the best for the future. Safe travels wherever you go, and may all your gigs be sold out and everybody come out healthy.
Thank you so much, Lance. It's a great pleasure talking to you. Cool. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.